Have you ever stopped to think about the last digit of the year you were born? Not the year itself, not the month or the day, but that final number. The closing note of your birth year, like the last beat of a drum marking your arrival into the world. At first it might seem insignificant, just a number that you've written down thousands of times on forms and documents, probably without ever questioning it. But what if I told you that this seemingly small detail carries profound meaning? In the symbolic world of the soul, the most trivial things often hold deep resonance. That single digit at the end of your birth year could have a vibration that subtly guides your life, your emotional tendencies, and even your relationship with time. It's easy to overlook, but in Carl Jung's view, nothing in life is truly random. Jung, the father of analytical psychology, taught us that the universe speaks to us in symbols, through myths, dreams, and even numbers. These symbols aren't just random, they are archetypes, universal patterns that shape the human experience, showing up across cultures and eras. They're more than just stories. They are energetic imprints embedded in everything, including time itself. Jung believed that time wasn't just a simple progression of minutes and hours. It was a living force with its own psychological flavor. The cultural climate of the time we are born, the collective psyche of the era, all of this leaves a symbolic imprint on our soul. We don't just come into the world in a random moment. We are born into an atmosphere of meaning. The final digit of your birth year might seem small, but it could be the symbolic fingerprint of your soul's entry into the world. What if this number, whether it's a 1, a 5, a 9, or a 0, carries a tone that resonates with your soul's rhythm? This isn't about superstition or labels that box us into rigid definitions. Jung wasn't interested in telling us exactly who we were. He wanted to help us awaken to parts of ourselves we've ignored, to see how the unconscious shapes the conscious. How patterns, even invisible ones, influence the way we live. And numbers, when seen through this symbolic lens, can be windows into those patterns. Let's look at it this way. 0 is more than just a placeholder. It's a symbol of the void of infinite potential and spiritual beginnings. 1 isn't just a starting point. It's the archetype of the pioneer, the one who strikes out to form identity. Each digit from 2 to 9 carries its own mythic essence. They appear in religious traditions, folklore, and psychological themes throughout history. So what could your final digit reveal about you? This isn't about defining you with certainty or fortune-telling. It's about offering a lens, a mirror, that reflects something essential that maybe you've always felt, but never put into words. It's an invitation to tune in to the patterns that have always been there, quietly shaping your life. To ask, what is the symbolic invitation of the time I was born into? What has my soul been resonating with from the very start? In the chapters ahead, we'll explore the symbolic meaning of each final digit from 0 to 9. We won't treat them as rigid definitions. Instead, think of it as a path toward recognition, a journey to rediscover something that might have been there all along. Let's begin by asking ourselves, what does the last digit of my birth year say about me? And as we journey through the numbers, you might find that this exploration doesn't just change how you view a number. It could reshape how you see your life, your soul's journey, and the timing that has brought you exactly where you are today. This isn't just about numbers. It's about resonance, about understanding the symbolic imprint you were born into. It's about discovering what that final digit might reveal about your essence, your path, and the invisible script your soul has been quietly following since the very moment you took your first breath. So let's step into Carl Jung's symbolic understanding of time. To Jung, life was not random. It wasn't a chaotic collection of events. Instead, life is a deeply patterned dance. And this dance is choreographed by symbols, those mysterious universal images and forces that shape our psyche, influencing how we think, feel, love, and suffer. Jung believed that these symbols are not poetic flourishes or abstract ideas. They are living forces in the psyche, dynamic energies that guide us in both subtle and profound ways. Jung noticed that symbols repeat across time, across cultures. They appear in myths, rituals, dreams, and stories. But these symbols aren't accidental. They're meaningful. They come from the unconscious, carrying messages from the depths of the soul. The more we pay attention to these symbols, the more we align with the deeper wisdom trying to speak through us. And one of the most overlooked yet powerful symbols is the number. A tool we often treat as nothing more than a measurement, a sterile figure to calculate. But for ancient cultures, and for Jung, numbers were never just numbers. They were alive. They carried power. Each number had its own vibration, its own energy, and its symbolic role in the grand story of existence. 0 represented the cosmic void, the beginning of all things. 3 was sacred, representing the divine Trinity. 7 was a symbol of transformation, of deep spiritual processes. And numbers in their full symbolic depth were a part of sacred texts, dreams, and mystical traditions around the world. Jung studied how numbers appeared in alchemical texts, how they emerged in dreams during times of crisis, how they represented transformation and rebirth. He saw that numbers didn't predict the future. They reflected the deep currents already present within us. And when we bring this symbolic lens to your birth year, it becomes clear that your birth year isn't just a historical fact. It's a symbolic doorway marking the collective energy of the world you entered into. The culture, the collective psyche, the dreams and fears that were most active in humanity at that time. All of it is embedded in the energy of that year. And at the end of that year is a digit, one small but potent number. This number isn't just a footnote in the story of your life. It colors your entire life story, setting the emotional tone for everything that comes after. What if that final digit carries a frequency, a vibration that your soul naturally resonates with? What if that number, not because of superstition, but because of its inherent energy, entered the world with you like a seed planted in time? And what if that seed has been growing silently beneath the surface of your choices, your desires, your wounds, and your longings? In Jungian thought, this would not be a strange idea. It would be expected. Time for Jung wasn't empty. It was full of meaning, and by looking at your symbolic entry point into time, your birth year, you can gain insight into the archetypal forces that shaped your becoming. And when we look at the final number of your birth year, we're not just looking at a number. We're looking at a reflection of the soul's journey. And that's exactly what we're going to explore. Each digit from 0 to 9 carries its own energy and tone. It's not about defining you, but about listening to the subtle whispers of your soul. So let's take a moment and begin with the number 0. When we return, we'll dive into the symbolic energy behind the number 0 and explore what it means for your soul's journey. 0. The final digit of your birth year, if it ends in 0, is a profound symbol. To be born in a year ending in 0 is to carry the vibration of the beginning and the end. 0 is not just a number, it is a paradox, a circle with no start and no end. It represents both the void and infinite potential, the space where everything begins and everything eventually returns. While the world may treat 0 as nothing spiritually, it's everything. In many ancient spiritual traditions, 0 wasn't seen as emptiness, but as the womb of all creation. It was the space before the first sound, the breath before the first word. 0 holds the potential for everything. It is not a void, but a field of possibility. It is where all opposites merge and dissolve into unity. If you were born in a year ending in 0, you may feel a deep sense of this truth, even if you've never named it. Your soul carries the imprint of cycles of beginnings and endings, not as linear progressions, but as the natural rhythm of life. Jung believed that 0 symbolizes the archetype of the self, not as personality, but as totality. The self that encompasses everything, light and shadow, masculine and feminine, conscious and unconscious. In Jungian terms, the mandala, the perfect circle, often represents this center of the soul, the wholeness of being. 0 in this sense is not passive, it is primordial. It is the original ground of being from which all things emerge and to which all things return. Those born with a final digit of 0 often carry an inner gravity that draws others in, not through performance, but through presence. Their energy is calming without effort. They are the ones who listen deeply, who sense the world in subtle ways. They have an intuitive sense of time, not the ticking of the clock, but the cycles of life, of creation, of dissolution. People born with this energy often feel timeless, not because they're detached from the world, but because they understand that everything is connected, everything comes full circle. However, this path isn't always easy. Those with the final digit of 0 can sometimes feel like outsiders, like they don't quite fit in. The world around them is always rushing, always moving forward, but their soul remembers something different. They may experience existential longing, a hunger for something deeper, something more meaningful. This can feel like a burden in a world that values progress, clarity, and results. But it's not a failure, it's a calling. The emptiness you feel isn't an absence, it's a signal. A sacred discomfort that pushes you to explore the deeper rhythms of life, to find meaning in stillness, to reconnect with the wisdom that exists in silence. When you embrace the energy of 0, you become something rare. You are a keeper of sacred space. You may not always be understood, and that's okay. Your role isn't to conform to the world's demands. You are here to remind others of what is sacred, what is whole, what is real. The wisdom of 0 lies in stillness, in waiting and being, and in remembering that the end is only the beginning in a never-ending cycle. Your presence is a quiet force, a reminder that true meaning is not found in the noise of life, but in the spaces between it. So if your birth year ends in 0, know this: you are not here to chase the world's direction. You are here to honor the rhythm of your soul, to connect with the cyclical nature of existence. Your soul is not empty. It is deep, it is whole, and it carries the memory of all that has come before and all that will come after. You are here to be the anchor in a world that often feels adrift. And when you stand firm in your truth in the sacred energy of 0, you bring a quiet peace that the world so desperately needs. Let's move now to the number 1. The final digit of your birth year, if it ends in 1, carries a different but equally profound energy. The number 1 is the soul that dares to begin. To be born in a year ending in 1 is to carry within you the spark of origin, the fire that doesn't wait for permission, but steps boldly into the unknown. While 0 represents the potential before creation, 1 is the ignition, the spark that sets the fire into motion. The number 1 is the archetype of the pioneer, the trailblazer, the one who steps forward into the world with courage, with identity, and with purpose. If your birth year ends in 1, your soul is marked by a need to break free from the collective, to form your own identity, to set out on a path that has never been walked before. 1 is the number of initiation, of emergence, of stepping into individuality. Carl Jung spoke often about the process of individuation, the journey of becoming who you uniquely are, separate from the group, and fully awake to your inner truth. If you were born in a year ending in 1, this archetype likely resonates deeply within you. You may have felt this energy from a young age, sensing a quiet tension between who you are expected to be and who you truly are. Your soul whispers, "I need to find my own way." And that's exactly what you're here to do. But with this desire for individuality comes a shadow. The shadow of the number 1 is isolation. The fear that if you go your own way, you will be alone. This fear can push you into over-controlling, into thinking that you must do everything alone. But the truth is, your path isn't solitary. It's not about being separate from others. It's about leading, yes, but not from ego. It's about finding your true path and showing others that they can begin too. Jung warned that when the ego becomes inflated, it forgets its place within the greater self. If your birth year ends in 1, this could be a challenge you face. The need to be the first, the best, the only one can create a barrier between you and others. But when you integrate the energy of 1, you become deeply inspiring. You open doors not just for yourself, but for others. Your soul carries the wisdom of creative courage, and you are here not to copy or conform, but to create, to lead, and to initiate change. If this is your number, remember you are not here to prove yourself. You are here to be yourself. Let your inner fire burn, not to destroy, but to illuminate. Take that first step, even if your voice shakes. Lead from your soul, not your ego. The world needs you not to be the loudest or the first, but to be the one who dares to walk a path no one else has walked before. And now let's move to the next number, the final digit 2. To be born in a year ending in 2 is to carry the sacred imprint of duality. 2 is the number of connection, of reflection, of resonance. While the energy of 1 is about individuality and initiation, 2 moves towards relationships, towards understanding the world through the eyes of another. It's the number that recognizes from the very beginning that we are not alone. 2 is the soul that seeks balance, harmony, and union. People born under the influence of 2 often feel deeply attuned to others. They sense emotions in a room before words are spoken. From a young age, they may have noticed how others feel more clearly than they understood their own feelings. Their soul is wired for relationships, for intimacy, for deep emotional connection. They are often empathetic, compassionate, and caring. The energy of 2 is the archetype of the lover, the peacemaker, the empath. But with this gift of empathy comes a shadow, the tendency to lose oneself in others. In their desire for connection, people with the final digit of 2 may forget to nurture their own needs, their own voice. They may give too much take on the emotional weight of others, or silence their own truth to preserve peace. The soul born under 2 must learn to honor both the other and the self. True connection is not about self-sacrifice, but about bringing your whole self into the relationship. When this energy is integrated, people born under the influence of 2 become natural diplomats, counselors, poets, and healers. They have the ability to see both sides of an issue, to bring people together, and to make others feel held safe and understood. Their strength lies not in control, but in compassion. They remind the world that vulnerability is not weakness, but wisdom. They teach us that true connection doesn't come from selflessness, but from honoring both our needs and the needs of others. If this is your number, remember, you are not fragile because you care. You are strong because you feel. Your longing for union is not a flaw. It is a sacred compass pointing you toward what is real, what is true, and what matters most. And when you learn to balance your inner world with the world around you, you become a sanctuary in motion, bringing peace wherever you go. We'll dive deeper into the meaning of the next digit soon. Stay with me as we continue exploring the symbolic energies that these numbers carry and how they shape your soul's journey. Let's move on to the final digit 3, the soul that dances with expression. To be born in a year ending in 3 is to carry the sacred energy of movement, creativity, and manifestation. This is the number of the sacred spark, the energy that flows outward, to connect, to express, to share. While the energy of 1 focuses on self-identity and the energy of 2 seeks connection, 3 is the number of expression. It's about communicating who you are in the most creative, vibrant ways possible. 3 is the archetype of the communicator, the artist, the performer. It represents creativity and motion, the energy that needs to be seen, heard, and felt. People born with a final digit of 3 often feel the need to share what's within them, whether through words, art, music, or any form of expression. There is a need to tell stories, to give voice to the unspeakable, to bring the invisible into the light. These souls are often creative in nature, but not just in an artistic sense. They are storytellers in all aspects of life. They have a way of expressing their thoughts and emotions that draws people in, making them feel something. However, the shadow of 3 is that it can be overwhelming. Those born under the influence of 3 often feel so much that they can become scattered, jumping from one idea or project to another without ever fully grounding their energy. They may fear that if they stop moving, if they stop creating, they will be consumed by the depth of what they feel. The trick for them is learning to find balance. Expression must come from a place of inner truth, not just a desire to perform or entertain. When integrated, the energy of 3 becomes a powerful force for transformation. People born with this energy can speak the truth that others cannot. They can turn emotions into stories and stories into movements. They help us see the world in a new light, offering us a fresh perspective through their creativity. If this is your number, remember, you are not here to entertain. You are here to awaken, to bring truth into the world through your expression. Let's move now to the final digit 4, the soul that builds what lasts. To be born in a year ending in 4 is to carry the energy of stability, structure, and endurance. While 3 is about creative expression, 4 is about building the foundations. 4 is the number of stability, the energy that creates order, structure, and systems. If you were born with the final digit of 4, your soul is attuned to the energy of creation, but not the spontaneous creation of 3. Instead, it's about creating something that endures, something that lasts. Jung often spoke of the symbolism of the number 4 in sacred geometry. To him, it represented the wholeness of the material world, the 4 elements, the 4 cardinal directions, the 4 seasons, the 4 functions of consciousness. 4 represents the tangible world, the solid foundation from which all things grow. People born under this number may not crave attention or fame, but they are often the quiet anchors in their environments. They are the builders, the planners, the organizers, the ones who create the systems that support others. However, the shadow of 4 is rigidity. When the energy of 4 is unconscious, it can become control. It can cling to routines, labels, and beliefs that no longer serve a purpose, simply because they once offered safety. There's a fear of change, a fear of spontaneity, a fear of surrender. But the truth is that flexibility is not weakness. It is wisdom. The task for those born with the final digit of 4 is to learn that structure must serve the soul, not suppress it. When this energy is integrated, people with the final digit of 4 become not just builders, but protectors of space. They create systems that allow others to grow, and they bring stability and safety without stifling freedom. If this is your number, remember, you are not here to hold everything for everyone. You are here to build what matters and to know that flexibility is the key to true strength. Now let's look at the final digit 5, the soul of sacred change. To be born in a year ending in 5 is to carry the energy of transformation, movement, and curiosity. 5 is the number of change, the energy that cannot stay still. People born with this energy often live right on the edge of stability and chaos, balancing between the comfort of the known and the excitement of the unknown. 5 is the number of the explorer, the rebel, the one who is always searching for something more. Those born with the final digit of 5 often undergo many transformations in their lifetime. They change careers, relationships, beliefs, identities, not out of confusion, but because staying the same feels like spiritual death. 5 represents the continual cycle of transformation, of evolution. These souls are always growing, always shifting, always learning. But the shadow of 5 is instability. When this energy is not grounded, it can become restlessness without direction, change for the sake of change, or escapism disguised as freedom. Jung would say that people born under the energy of 5 are constantly in the process of individuation, the process of becoming who they truly are. But individuation is not about running away from life. It's about staying present in the process of transformation. When integrated, the energy of 5 becomes a guide through change, a force that invites others to evolve along with them. If your birth year ends in 5, know that you are not broken for never staying the same. You are here to awaken the world through your becoming. Let's explore the final digit 6, the soul that protects what is sacred. To be born in a year ending in 6 is to carry the energy of protection, devotion, and nurturing. 6 is the number of caretakers, the ones who hold the emotional space for others. They are the ones who offer love and comfort, who stabilize and heal. While 5 is about transformation, 6 is about holding what's sacred and making sure it stays safe. People born with the final digit of 6 often feel a deep sense of emotional responsibility. They are drawn to protect, to nurture, to give. They are the caretakers of the heart, the ones who sense the emotional currents around them and step in to offer support. However, the shadow of 6 can be over-responsibility. These individuals may lose themselves in the needs of others, taking on emotional burdens that aren't theirs to carry. They may stay too long in relationships, give too much, or sacrifice themselves for others. But the path of the soul, born under the energy of 6, is to learn that boundaries are a form of love. They must learn to protect themselves first, so they can truly protect what matters. When integrated, the energy of 6 becomes a protector, not just of others, but of the sacredness of the heart. People born with this energy bring warmth and security to those around them, but they do so without losing themselves. If this is your number, remember, you are not here to carry everyone's sorrow. You are here to protect what is sacred, starting with your own heart. Finally, let's take a look at the last number 9, the soul that knows how to release. To be born in a year ending in 9 is to carry the energy of completion, of letting go. 9 is the final digit before the cycle resets, and those born with this energy often carry the wisdom of endings. They know that all things must come to a close, and that letting go is not a weakness, but a sacred strength. People born under the energy of 9 often feel old beyond their years. They carry emotional depth and are drawn to themes of loss, healing, and transition. Their soul understands that beauty is fleeting and that truth is found in surrender. But the shadow of 9 is over-identification with suffering. These individuals may hold on to pain long after it has served its purpose. They may struggle to ask for help or believe that their role is to always be strong for others. Jung would remind these souls that wholeness comes not from endless sacrifice, but from knowing when to release. 9 is not about carrying everything. It's about teaching others how to let go with grace. If your final digit is 9, remember, you are not here to carry the world's sorrow. You are here to teach others how to release it with love and dignity. So what does all of this mean for you? You are not just a number, but perhaps, just perhaps, your number is trying to tell you something. By listening to the symbolic energy of your final birth digit, you can gain insight into the rhythm of your life, the deeper patterns that have shaped your soul's journey. Take a moment to reflect on your number, your soul's energy, and remember, this is not about fate or destiny. It's about understanding the rhythms of your soul, the whispers that have always been there. And now it's time to listen. If you enjoyed this exploration and would like to dive even deeper, don't forget to check out the link in the first pinned comment for the SIM Method ebook. It's a guide that can help you unlock your inner power in just 5 minutes a day. Stay connected, stay aware, and remember, this is only the beginning. Let's continue to explore what your soul has always known.